Michael Storm, Anarchist of comic books and co-owner of Amazing Fantasies here in Topeka, Kansas. We are a comic book shop, and well, these are some of the signed books that just happen to be up on the wall at the moment, including some signed graded books, and the most recent edition. It's way up there. It's really I can't reach to zoom, even with the nice new phone and the nice new camera. That's a Stan Lee signed X-Men #1 Millennium Edition, just fresh back from CGC. Did you hear the news about CBCS going bye-bye? But not really. They'll be back, but it'll be, what would it be, PSA or whoever it is that owns them now. And it's Tuesday night, so of course I'm here putting the new stuff out for the week, all the new comic books, and it starts off with this amazing Batman Dark Knight. It's the continuation of the facsimile reprints of the Frank Miller, Klaus Janson. You know the story. This is just amazing. I talked about it when they did the #1. Because it is just an amazing story, of course. So much to it in terms of what it means for comic books and what it means for Batman, certainly at the time, and still has its influence today in storytelling, but just one of the easiest ways for you to be able to read it. If you couldn't get the original, there are collected works, but it's not the same as holding the comic book in your hand, and this is the closest you're going to get, unless you want to drop, I don't know, probably $40 for this one on an entry level. Wouldn't surprise me. But the big thing about DC, actually there's a couple of big things about DC this week. I just want to point out again, no, don't go over there yet. I just want to point out again, just kind of go over that one. Don't let me. All right, so it's not like I'm telling somebody else to do this. I'm doing this. If you're noticing what's happening here, this brand new Harley number 60 right there, the Silent Sentinel starts here. But look. Batgirl number 17, The Curse of the Blood starts here. The Empire starts here on Emperor Aquaman. Green Lantern Corns, Guy Gardner, Corpse, yeah. Guy Gardner Born Again starts here. Major Ivy starts here on Poison Ivy. This is Detective Comics new this week. Gotham's new Trinity starts here. Do you see a theme that's happening? DC is making it a real point to make it clear to people that this is a new entry point for stories, for storytelling. This is really cool. The rise of Kyle Rayner, of course. There's a couple other Green Lanterns that have sort of taken center stage for a number of years now. And Kyle Rayner, he wants his recognition. But the point is, with all of these, this is cool. Green Arrow, Batman, Black Canary, all on the trail of the same sort of thing, and cross paths, and a great little story there. But all of these are #1. They're, as far as story is concerned, you don't have to worry about, am I getting in the middle of something? Is it a ongoing storyline that I won't understand? These are the chances for you to jump in. That Action Comics is brand new, and the Flash is brand new there. There's not enough room for all of it. In fact, I had to take some of the bundles away so that we could move some of these other new titles into prominent position, because they're all #1s. They're all out recently, or they're amazing like this. Some of these facsimiles, that's all. The Wonder Woman #1, the very first issue, that whole facsimile, full size, just amazing, and shiny too. But then of course there's all of the Vertigo stuff, and so all of it has to have its spot. There's all those 4 new titles, and you'll see there's 1s and 2s. So entry points, and of course all the absolute stuff, including some absolute Batman #1s that we didn't have, and then there's also these collected works. It's the first 2 volumes. It's Batman, Absolute Batman Volume 1, Volume 2. So like the first 8 or 12 issues, I'm not sure off the top of my head. But the Martian Manhunter, that number 10, that's new this week. So you get the point that I'm stressing here is that these are new and they're easy to get into. If you've ever wanted to read some DC stories, you ever want to know about Nightwing, you ever want to know about Harley or Supergirl or where they're at these days, if you already know these characters, now is a really good time to get them in there. Get them on your pull, and they'll just be there for you every month when they come in. All right, so that's the one I wasn't showing. No big surprise here. The big story of the week, Superman, Spider-Man, it's here, and we have a number of these covers right here, and that's it. No, I'm kidding. Check this out. All right, so we'll show you all of them. I put one of those down there just so I could do that. There you go. This Jorge Jimenez cover right here. I was gonna send him a message and say, man, come on, why? But whatever, you got it. It's there. It's still great. You definitely have to put them together, though. That second cover is useless, right? You can't do anything without having the sort of wraparound, I guess. That's the back cover of it. I don't know. I don't know, a better head placement. Anyway, it's still amazing. There's the Spider-Man, the Superman, the Spider-Man. That's the regular A cover there, I think. And then, of course, that's the foil version of it. And then there are all these great variants. And some of them are Superman and Spider-Man. Peter and Clark are chasing a story together and palling around together. Look at that. That's really cool. Poor Jimmy. That's really cool. That's in the black costumes right there. They're chasing a story, and they ultimately end up finding out that Doc Ock has acquired himself some kryptonite, and the kryptonite, of course, is deadly to Superman. But how did Ock know to go after it and what to use it for, and what uses it could be for? Brainiac's behind that, and there's some fun. Superman and Spider-Man have some fun saving some people on their way to wrapping up the deadly attack on the city that's being launched by Brainiac and Dr. Octopus. There's so many covers. There's no incentive covers, though, so you don't have to buy a bunch of the covers to try to get any of the covers. You can just buy them outright. We also have some sets if you want to buy some whole sets. And that's not the only story. I didn't just give the whole thing away. It's an anthology book. It's huge. It's a great big book, and there's 6, 7 stories in there, a bunch of different ones. There's various versions of Spider-Man and Superman. There's Superboy and Spider-Man 2099, and there's that Jimmy Olsen and Carnage right there. There's Jonathan Kent and Ben Parker. They encounter each other. Punisher and Power Girl, and Mary Jane and Lois Lane, of course. So there's a number of different stories in there. There's much more to read than just the Superman story, but the Superman story was really fun. The others are great too. Marvel still doing the Spider-Man Death Spiral thing, and so this is one of the Target variants. It's a Bagley cover and just really great. I just wanted to point out the Rose Besh, though, because they don't always make it, especially Rose Besh around here. I'm not even sure how this one ended up making it to the shelf. That's one of the reasons. Look at that, one of those amazing visions, just that high quality, full painted presentation, and just amazing. I don't know. Again, always, they're going to get me on covers. That's what's going to sucker me in on some of them. But they keep me there with the stories. One of these days, the collectors will know. They'll realize that and stop messing with us, I guess, maybe. And it's really great because we've had comic books go through those phases, just like anything, where collectors are interested, depending on how much press they're getting and things like that. It's happened really big. Superman, Death of Superman, things like that over the years, and it's just nice to see that the companies aren't just feeding us the multiple covers and the shiny things. They're actually working on stories. I've stopped at the Fantastic Four for a reason, because they're doing this whole series of first foes, and there's sort of introductions of these meetings of these great evil characters. Null is still going. Iron Man is in number 3. All of these are easy, still accessible. Even these guys are still early on in a lot of these stories. Fixing the Past of Psylocke, that number 3 is new right there. That Punisher, number 2, Punisher, Frank is back after being involved with the Hand there, or leading the Hand, and he doesn't know how he got back. And then on top of that, he has Blast, traumatic brain injury. It's blast derives from concussion, explosive concussions, and having to deal with that, the pain of that. And they even they introduced, it's a fairly new thing. It's only been around maybe a decade or so that they've really been studying the idea of it. And so it was interesting that they brought it in to the storyline, and he's trying to figure out how to cure himself and what to do, and people recognize him and they think he's this mass murderer, and they don't want to help, but they do throw lithium at him, and lithium is one of the few things other than it's interesting because there are some physical things that they've been working on for years to help people with it. It blocks out certain sounds and certain pressure in the areas that are affected by it, and they've been studying it on mice. Here's another really big one. If ever another one of these books where it's not necessarily easy to get your hands on one for a cheap price, a really good one. You can get a reader for a decent price, but that's what these facsimiles are all about. It's awesome that we're able to go back and look at that. A big old thick book, $7 for that book right there. But they didn't even bump up the price on the shiny version of it. Now that's nice. That's nice. Some more. Let's see. Ultimate Endgame number 3 is here. That one's brand new. If you're not reading the new Star Wars, you're missing out on that. New Uncanny X-Men, the Monsters Dwell storyline continues. Now on to this. This is another. It's just full of number 1s and great places to start, and then some fun stuff like this that I've been throwing in there, making sure to get as I see it come up. It's Archie Comics 85th anniversary, and pinups are one of the things that they've done over the years in all of the different books, and the Archie books, and the Betty and the Veronica, and the Josie and the Pussycats, and the dog. What was the dog? I don't even know. But they've all had they've had these sort of pinups in them, and it's not just it's like the covers where they have usually a little quip or something of a funny little saying, and there was just a couple of great little covers to go with this as well. These Dan DiCarlo, just classic. Just some fun for you guys that like something different. And speaking of that, you want to talk about throwback. I mean, that's throwback. That's throwing it back. But when you're talking about comics, now there's real throwback. This is age, right? This is years, 85 years. This is just since the 60s. This is a comics book. It's Electric Chair. It's for adults only. You can see by the artwork that it's a throwback style. The comics, COMIX, they ran from mid 1960s through to the mid to late 80s. Like 1987 is probably about the official cutoff point of it, and just fantastic, amazing work at different places coming out of Haight-Ashbury and other places of creative gathering over the years through it and just one of these things that when Comicsgate was going on and people were talking about, oh, it's not a fair industry, these people aren't represented. It was all a lie, because there has always been representation for different people, different ideas, different values, different interests, whatever it happens to be. They've always been available in comic books, and they've always been available through things like this. That's what comic books are. This was just a reboot rebirth of it during an era when it was necessary. And I have to tell you, we're in an era like that right now where it's important that people learn to read and people continue to read, and that they get some of their information through mediums like this, because it doesn't matter. It's not ever going to go away. So it doesn't matter that I'm not trying to get you to save a dying industry or something like that. In fact, what I'm telling you is it's going through a renaissance right now, that these things, this absolute Batman, these absolute stories that have taken off, and the Jorge Jimenez Batman that is, in my estimation, one of the best attempts and successes at crossing over between what people want from what young people want today, from a Batman and a character in a society that reflects more of what they value and what they understand today, but still bridging that gap to people like myself who've been not even close to around as long as Batman's been around, but I've been around more than half of Batman's existence and been right there. Some of these other greats, these again, a bunch of number ones, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the final boss. There's a number 1 on the Super Thick Lucky Tales. That's brand new. Street Fighter Masters Karen, a couple of great covers right there. A brand new Star Wars story, another High Republic Adventures, and let's see, Sherlock Holmes Dark Detective Special. If you don't already know the Dark Detective story line and universe, this is a great one-shot sort of introduction to it. I have number 1 and number 2. If you missed it the first time, I have reprints of number 1, and there's number 2, and the story is a wild ride. There's a history of these, and Mad Cave is kind of a history of stuff like this, a recent history of stuff like this. It's just a awesome. Henchman, this is fun, so much fun. Rafael Garcia, and this is a story of, this is more like The Office meets the bad guy henchman thing. This is what happens when you have to deal with HR and things like that, when you are a hired henchman for, mercenary type for, the corporation. It's a sort of distant, a near future dystopian type of thing. Here's a big one for you. If you're an Invincible fan, you've been waiting for this. Invincible Returns. Enough said. Okay, maybe not enough said. Here you go. Marvel team up with Invincible. We still have a few of those facsimiles. Now enough said? Okay, sure. Mark Spears, Midnight Man, number 1. Again, enough said? Okay, maybe not. The Monsters storyline is wrapped up, and this is a continuation. This is part of that Monsters world that Mark Spears has created, and of course the book is jam-packed with Mark Spears' fantastic art style, and I know and it's great because some people don't get the art style, some people don't like it, they think it's too stiff, and it's really cool because the book is a bit meta. It's in a comic book shop. It starts out in a comic book shop, and the kid reading about the Midnight Man, whose story really begins after he dies. He's in this comic book shop, and these kids are in the comic book shop, and they're sort of commenting on Mark Spears' art and things. It's a really great introduction to that universe in a number 1, if you weren't already in on the Monsters thing. Now here's some more facsimiles. The Skybound continues to reprint the G.I. Joe stuff. This is first Firefly and first Zartan in a cameo. In fact, we have number 1s again. Number one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 through there in Elvira and Harley Quinn. Thundar number 1. We still have some of those in the bags. Thundercats, that one shot that Lost in Time. Just so much. Another number 1. That one's great for the kids right there. This is deep, good stuff. I mean, there's no number one. Even these number 1s count. Look, some of these, what do they call them? They're the image firsts there, and they're just $1, and they're introductions to these storylines, including Feral. There was a new Feral this week, but if it wasn't on your poll, it didn't make it to the shelf. Witchblade, both the new series and the original series, number 1s of those. Only $1 to get into those and find out. This is the gift. Somebody who has a poll will win that this week. That's that first Jim Lee It'll be this. Yeah, well, I guess it's next week. The month's not quite over. There's a new one each month. If you're on a poll, you could win one. Somebody's getting surprised all the time with the things that show up in their poll all of a sudden. Random thing that we seem to have a lot of success selling: tarot decks, and these ones were new. I just had to get a couple of these in here. The Princess Bride 78 card decks, just fantastic art, all new, all original art based on the story, based on the movie, and just one of those random things that we sell. Every time I brought some Dungeons and Dragons themed tarot deck or something like that into the store, they've sold almost immediately. You've got to be, these are okay, so if you want to be caught up on this stuff, I do my best that I can every week, but there's only so much that I can do and so much that I can keep up with. These magazines, grab these when you're in the store. It tells you all about it. This is the newest one, the Marvels one, and there's a ton of stuff in here that they're talking about. There's a new Jay and Silent Bob Marvel crossover thing. Queen in Black is coming out. Infernal Hulk continues. Reborn, the Ultimate Impact. So that's, the Ultimate Universe is coming to an end, but some of it has ramifications in the regular universe. There's the Jay and Silent Bob, Jay's the Future Past. That's a storyline that Kevin pitched to Stan Lee like 30 years ago, and they're finally going to do it. And it's just a one-shot, but it's fun. You get some variant covers and just fun comic book storylines. Spectacular Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Some of these have just started. Some of these are about to start. You can get them on your pull. If you don't like maybe you're tired of Superman, superheroes, they got the whole fatigue thing going on, maybe. Draw your own. There you go. We can do that. Learn to draw your own. Still have some of these left. Not too many, just a handful of them. Ask for one. We'll give you one for free if you'd like one. It'd be great if these guys do really well and get supported and continue to produce it, because that's what I'm talking about here, is this information. And this is all DC. This is all Marvel. This is all Vertigo. This is all, that's Stormbreakers. That's just art for Marvel. But this is everything. This is what's going on in the industry all across it, and all the and stories and panels and just everything that was great about Wizard back in the day. And this is also brand new. Another thing celebrating the 85th anniversary of Archie. It's just a collector's edition. It says right on it, it's a collector's edition. It's over 100 pages. It's just a great big magazine with a lot of fun, which is what we tried to do with all of this. We want you to read it. We want you to enjoy it. And as always, please do us a favor. Click the like. Share us around. Share the video around. Share information about the store. Tell people about us, because we are still Topeka's best kept secret. And get these things on your pull. If you're in here and you see any of this stuff, it doesn't last. You don't know how much I have to shift out here, even tomorrow, I guess Thursday, after I come back in here after New Comic Book Day is past. I'll have to restock these shelves, and most of the stuff will be gone. Just not that much of it gets to the shelves. So it'll either be here, most of these will probably still be here, but most of these probably will not. Don't take your chances. Get them on your pull.